So I just found out they're doing a little monthly spotlight. I didn't know about this.
Different world.
I think I got here just in time. We just finished playing the trailer we already saw. So let's see what they got. Hopefully my computer isn't too loud in the background. It's pretty loud when I started up in the morning. I just got the notifications. I loaded up my PC, so it's really chugging here.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first monthly Spotlight Jurassic World Evolution 2 monthly Spotlight stream here on Frontier Development's Twitch channel and on the Jurassic World Evolution 2 YouTube channel. My name is Jurassic World. I am part of the community team here at Frontier, and today we're going to be talking a bit about some of the stuff that we've announced and revealed and all that good stuff during the month of
Hopefully I can't see this. I'm trying to get this thing a little bit louder.
And to do that with me, I have...
Look, I'm plugging these headphones. I can't hear anything.
Hey everyone,
How you doing, Rich?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Tired, excited.
Yeah,
It's been a month.
It's definitely been a month. Yeah. Anything new happen to you
There we go.
I
recently?
learned a new way to cook noodles.
He has a
That's about it, really.
Yeah.
5 Deaths t-shirt.
Well, a small amount.
Yeah.
Reasonable amount of noodles.
Yeah. Noodles and dinosaurs. That's
Yeah.
how it goes.
Oh, dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
We did a thing. We announced a game.
We did
What
announce
the-
again. And it's been incredibly exciting.
We're good to go.
I've been chomping at the bit to I guess use a bit of a dinosaur phrase to put Jurassic World Evolution 2 out.
He really has. Like up until the announcement, I can't wait to tell people.
Yeah, because it's we've been working on all the stuff behind the scenes for a while, and then suddenly it's out
I've got
there.
the Steam background back there. I'm just looking around at the background stuff while they talk
It's
here.
things we
So
made.
great. Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming later this year, and we're very excited about it. All right. So, as you probably can guess from the title of this stream, we will be showcasing and discussing some of the news and announcements from the month. We might also be discussing something new here and then, but we just wanted to let you know that these streams will continue at the end of every month, aiming for the last Friday of every month as sort of
All right.
a way for the community to come together and celebrate some of the things that we have talked about, revealed, announced, all that stuff. There's not going to be live gameplay on these streams, but you'll get to see trailers, you'll get to see maybe some behind-the-scenes videos, some screenshots, maybe sometimes some work in progress assets we will see, maybe also some gameplay footage depending on what we've shown you guys in the past month. Because we want to give you guys a glimpse of what's been happening behind the scenes, meet some of the developers, talk about the game, have it be fun, celebrate Jurassic World Evolution 2 as we move closer and closer to launch. So yeah, it's been I'm just really excited to be here. So let's start off with you, Rich. I'm assuming a lot of our audience already knows
Ethan was on the
but,
the
for those of you who don't
E3,
know,
right? He looks like it.
introduce yourself.
So I'm Rich Newbold. I'm the game director of Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah.
2. So, and I just want to clarify. I just love the 5 deaths. This is just a nice T-shirt that
It's
I
just
like.
a T-shirt.
It's just a T-shirt. It's not a tease for anything. I just really love the first game. I was working on it and the Switch version. And I thought it's a great themed T-shirt for what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Where do you even
My
find a
other
shirt
one
like that?
is a Jurassic Poll, and it says I'm like Grumposaurus, and I was like, that feels a bit too dour for this one. I thought it's an exciting stream, so I thought,
Yeah. Nugget Boy Keon says, "Tell Rich I love his shirt." So there's people
too.
have already noticed it,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see all the discussion forum comments later on saying,
yeah, we just
"Oh,
wanted to cut it off early.
was he
There's no-
trying to tease something?"
No, it's just
It's just a T-shirt.
Just a T-shirt.
But Rich is a pretty snappy dresser, I'd say. So
No one has ever said that ever. Thank you though.
You're welcome. I was planning on. I was planning on buying a shirt with like 4 different types of dinosaurs with a really fat one that says Om Nom Nomnivore.
Oh yeah,
But unfortunately I
that's
wasn't
really
able to
old.
find it. Maybe
That's a
it was-
really old meme, isn't it?
So yeah,
Seen that
today
years
we're
ago.
gonna cover Summer Games Fest. We're gonna cover the announcement. We're gonna talk a bit about the species field guides that'll come up. Talk about
Ooh.
some of the dinosaurs we've revealed so far, some game mechanics, and discuss
Alright.
the
Sounds good to me.
that went out earlier this week, which was about dinosaur acquisition and management. So yeah, Summer Games
I
Fest
saw
happened
Besta post a bunch of videos about it. I didn't watch
2.5
any of them though,
weeks
so this will
ago.
be new to me.
Is that all?
Yes, it is literally that old. What is time anymore?
It's
in
when
the year of our
when
Lord
you
2021.
finally announce something that you're so excited about,
Yeah.
and then everything that's been coming after that, it's just been non-stop, just excitement and showing people new stuff, and every day's just been just a great moment of okay, what else is there to be excited about? What else are we sharing? It's just been great, and yeah, Summer Games Fest was the first moment of that, and it was
He's
great to
got,
finally
like,
tell everyone.
A bunch of papers over there.
And,
Jesus.
Yeah, so we announced during Summer Games Fest with a little help from Jeff Keighley and of course the legend
Jeff
Goldblum.
Yeah.
I was grinning the entire time as it was happening, just one from finally being able to put it out into the world, but also just having help from Jeff Goldblum. It was really good to share this stuff.
It was a little
how did you find the
cringy,
announcement?
but
How was it for you?
It
it was still cool to get the game announced, I
It was
guess.
incredibly stressful and exciting. I was in a VO session at that time. I was in a VO
Right.
session with one of our talent, and we managed to do the break just at the right time. So
Right.
everyone in the VO session and the person doing the VO, we all stopped and watched it together, and it was just such a great moment for everyone to get together and celebrate. Like, we're announcing something, we're announcing it right now, the thing we're working on.
Yeah.
We're announcing it now, and it was just great. But yeah, and it was also great to see like all the reaction afterwards as well.
And then you just slapped your hands together and said, right, back to work, everyone.
Basically, it was very much
back
like,
to the
we
VO
still-
session.
We still have 2 more hours to go. We have a lot of content to record. Can we get back to it? But yeah, it was great to have Jeff. It's just
Excuse me.
He seems like a really amazing guy. He seems like a guy who just lives life to the fullest as well, like as much as he possibly can. Like you can sort of see that in the announcement as
Yeah.
well. So let's shift let's shift the focus a bit to some of the things that players can expect in Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Let's
So
get
there's
this
a lot of
going,
information out
boys.
there. Some of it comes from us, and some of it comes from places like Game Informer and GameSpot, because you gave them a bit of a preview of the game earlier. But let's try to cover what we can. So, what are the 4 main areas that we've been focusing on for Jurassic World Evolution 2?
So Jurassic World Evolution 2 is a dinosaur management simulation game.
There's a shock.
Most of you know this. Just want to double check. And for the sequel, we were so proud of the great success that the first game had. And with the sequel, we wanted to kind of build on the foundations of that. So we focused the sequel on 4 key areas. So one of them is our authentic narrative. So we really wanted to really push the narrative aspects of the sequel compared to the first game. We've written an original story set after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We've got enhanced creativity. So we've been really working on all the aspects of creativity that you as players have in your park. So really adding more extra tools and opportunities for you to really customize those things and build those parks of your dreams.
Expand on that a little
Deeper
bit.
management. So it's a management game. We wanted to add a lot more levers and a lot more things that the player's doing whilst they're managing their parks. When it comes to the guests, the dinosaurs, building that park, managing that park, and dealing with the moment-to-moment aspects of running a dinosaur theme park and things going wrong and dealing with that and park teams.
Do I still have to like manually schedule my
last one
ranger
was realistic
teams?
dinosaurs.
I really hope I don't have to. I don't want it.
We've
I
worked
don't.
really hard on that. We have over 75 different prehistoric species. We've been working really hard on a lot more depth in their behaviours and the way they move around your landscapes and environments, how they interact with each other and the other things. So kind of everything we do in the game should be pushing one of those 4 things, at least one of those 4 things. And these kind of 4 pillars help keep us honest about, okay, the thing that we want to add to the game, how much is it pushing those things? Is it making the dinosaurs more realistic? Is it authentic to the narrative? We don't have characters doing things that can be out of character. The creativity, making sure that anything we add is pushing that enhanced creativity. So we use them as like a thing just to keep us honest and make sure that everything we're doing is pushing one of those things forward as much as possible. And, yeah, we're really proud of what we've been doing.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously I've have some access to, builds and everything, and I've been having a lot of fun play testing some of the stuff on my own as well. What's it been like returning to Jurassic World Evolution? Because we did the first game, and now we're doing the sequel. Is it like it's putting on a pair of comfortable shoes, or is it just like, all right, brand new jacket, breaking it in? It's a bit stiff, but we're gonna get to it.
For me, I've been working on the Jurassic World Evolution franchise for a long time now, for many years. I did the first game, the PDLCs, we did the complete edition on Switch, and then the sequel as well. So I've just been constantly, and I'm not going to say it just as it's cliche. For me, it is an evolution of what I'm working on all the time. I do something, we do something. Okay, we get it to a position. Okay, how can we build on that? And that's what it's been. For me anyway, there's some new faces on the team as well that have kind of joined just for the sequel, and they probably see things in a different perspective. But for me, it's constant iteration. It's okay, with the first game in the PDLCs, we kind of put this big marker in the sand. Okay, right, we want the leap to be really big because we're a sequel, so everything has to be a big leap in improvements. It's not, we're not talking
That's
about
nice.
incremental stuff now.
A lot of people worry about it just being more like a very advanced, like, I guess what would be standalone expansion, or just DLC or whatever, just not feel like its own game.
Foundation, but what we've got is just so much better.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned the narrative. What can you tell us about the narrative of the game?
So we have a campaign mode, one of our 4 game modes.
That's good.
It's a new story. It's an original story. It's set after the events of Fallen Kingdom. For those of you who haven't seen the film, I'm assuming again you've all seen.
Spoilers.
Yeah, can you spoil? There's dinosaurs in it. They're now,
No, really, there's dinosaurs in a Jurassic World movie? Who'd have thought?
Just to be clear, that's a spoiler. But now they're not confined to the islands of which they are normally based. So they're now out in the wild. I'm not going to tell you how that happened. Just keep that bit free. Free from spoilers.
I don't think it matters. A lot of people seem to hate that movie.
It's going to be inner story dealing with that crisis. They're going to be working alongside characters that are from the film returning.
I love it.
Again, we have Bryce Dallas Howard return as Claire Dearing, kind of building facilities to deal with that problem. So we've nuanced some of the gameplay a bit, because the first game was about building these theme parks, building these greatest attractions the world's ever seen, building these theme parks in the 5 deaths. But we've nuanced the gameplay a bit because it's now more facility based. It's more about dinosaur welfare. It's them being out in the wild. So in that mode, there's like a slight change in what the player's doing, but they're still building facilities, building parks, but kind of more dinosaur focused in that regard. And that's been kind of one of the big ways we've been improving the narrative is this original story. It just fits perfectly after the events of Jurassic World Evolution.
As you mentioned, Jeff Goldblum is back, and Bryce Dallas Howard is back. What's it been like working with them on this narrative compared to the first one?
Keeps like rubbing the mic.
They know their characters so well. So when we write something, we work with a writer, John
I mean, to be fair, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard don't have to work very hard. The characters are pretty flat.
Writing this story, and they will then
That's the one aspect of the new movies you could say isn't very good.
It's a very collaborative aspect. We've written stuff. John is very good at writing these
But you
characters,
know,
but then when we get them
Sam Neill, Laura
into the
Dern, and
sessions, they're
Jeff
really
Goldblum do
working on
actually
bringing what they know
have
to
something to
characters.
work with. So we'll see.
It's just amazing to work with them. And for someone like Bryce, she did it the first game. She came back again, and she's like, "Yeah, hey guys," and she just went straight back into it, and it was really easy for her. And she's been phenomenal to work with. And as you say, Jeff is a great personality. He's really good at playing Ian Malcolm. He brings a bit of himself to it.
That's because it's just himself, isn't it? That's like the whole joke. Jeff only ever plays himself.
Very weird hearing you refer to them as Jeff and Bryce.
Oh yeah, we're like BFFs now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just very. I don't know. For me, they're still, they're celebrities. They're still like sort of out there, external people that I don't know. So
I think they still are for me. But I've had, I spent many hours with them in VO, and there's a small amount of familiarity that allows me to feel more comfortable saying it. But yeah, they still are. They're still Jeff Goldblum, so Bryce Dallas Howard. They're still amazing. They're still amazing people that I'm probably never going to casually talk to, probably in a coffee shop or something. But it's still just been great to work with.
Why not use the opportunity when you have it to try to be.
Maybe that's my headphones just freaking out.
It was interesting around the when we were building
Hopefully that fixed it.
to the announcement.
Keep hearing like someone's rubbing their hand against a mic or something. I think it's just my headphones freaking out right now.
Many different. So Jeff 1 and Jeff 2, I guess.
Guess I'll find out on the video.
We'll start recalling them. But yeah, are there any other familiar characters that players can expect? I know our Reddit audience has been very worried about Cabot Finch. There was a whole thread.
Do not worry about Cabot. We love Cabot. Like the dev team and John, the writer, we love.
I had no idea. I haven't spent any time on Reddit.
Graham, who plays his voice, who does his voice, is so good at that character. And between John and Graham, they've brought to life such an amazing character that we really love. And he's definitely going to be back. He's definitely alive. He's definitely going to be you know, making a joke and then being like, no, I'm being serious, and then he's still going to make jokes. He's just such an amazing character, and we love him. And it's trying to, we've been working hard to balance the amount of Cabotness he is, because sometimes he can go very Cabot, but we just want to bring it back a bit, just so that he's very additive to the experience. It just gives you that nice kind of humour break.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs are eating people. I need to deal with this problem, but Cabot's there, be like, hey, why are you not making me money? Like,
dinosaurs are eating people. That's going to be bad for business.
yeah,
like that.
it's trying to get the balance, but yeah, we just got Cabot, so he's back. Do not worry.
Timbo Jimbo says yes, Cabot, and
I think he's had like 3 divorces between the first game and this game, but yeah, and that's been we've been working hard to kind of bring in the characters from the first game in a way that really fits the original story. So even though Cabot isn't kind of he's not a film character, he's an original character by us. He works alongside those film characters in the story as well. So he fits seamlessly into the universe as though he would have been a film character. He's not. He's ours.
Yeah.
It just works with the characters from the films. And it's great to have that interaction.
I think it's really fun to have that sort of slightly cynical, snarky businessman perspective that
We already have the slightly. We already have the fully snarky and cynical Chaotician. I don't think we need a second one, but you know what? It's still fine. He's all right.
And Claire Dearing is, you know, all about conservation.
Although I don't think they're gonna bring back the other guys. You know, security, science, and entertainment.
We've worked hard to try and make sure that
I
all
don't
the
think
original
entertainment dude's name
characters,
Isaac.
characters fit.
I don't know the other two though.
Something diverse and different.
Maybe I'm even wrong about him. Who knows?
Film characters as well. The film characters are great characters, but you know sometimes you need a bit of snark in there that's different. It's more about money or
I guess that's
you know,
yeah.
making reference to his divorce and all that stuff. It's been great.
Different kind of snark and sarcasm to Ian Malcolm.
Good question. What time frame are we experiencing between the 2 games? Does 2 take place X amount after the first one?
It's fuzzy because
Right.
in that it's probably like 5-10 years, because the first game again is like a sideways canon. Was a sideways canon. Obviously, no one ever goes back to Pena and builds a theme park. So, but in our game we did. That was the idea. That was the fiction of that one.
Parallel
In
universe.
this, we kind of those things kind of happened. They still happened.
Right.
The player kind of did that, and the characters were there with you. But obviously, in the films, that never happened. So we kind of melded the 2 universes together. So it's our original story set after Fallen Kingdom, but we've also brought our original characters from the first game. It's kind of, they do make some reference to that's like the stuff.
How are they gonna work Claire's
Claire
Sanctuary into it? They're just gonna ignore that? I guess that's why it's like a separate thing, right?
Yeah,
Like the
it's-
Return Jurassic Park DLC.
It was a challenge,
They didn't actually
but,
happen. They're just like
it fits
what
really well,
ifs.
because we're a sequel to the game, but we're also an original story to the film as well. So we've just tried to.
It's a
meld
curious
it
question,
together.
isn't it?
Sounds like an interesting process and a bit of a challenge, of course. But you know,
Yeah.
it's probably a challenge that's you're able to overcome with a bit of work.
That's what writing scripts
Exactly,
is all
yeah,
about.
that's what
It's
writing's
just,
all
we need
about.
to solve this problem. Let's just write the problem. No, we solved the problem with writing it.
So let's switch tracks a little bit and talk about the different game modes. So there's 4 different game modes.
That's
in the
right.
game.
So the campaign mode, been through that one. That's the
Can you
original
go into more
story.
on Chaos Theory?
Kind of
I kinda
dealing
hope
with
so.
these dinosaurs now out in the wild. We have Chaos Theory mode, which is another narrative mode, which is about the player going back to like key moments from the film's the film franchise's history, but with a twist. I think we're going to talk more about that in the next few months. To launch.
Darn.
Challenge mode. So that's the kind of the classic challenge mode, testing the player's ability to build parks. We've worked hard on trying to make that a bit more interesting and a bit more different. There's different parts of that challenge mode, and then sandbox mode.
Please rebalance it a little bit.
Be creative. And
Yeah.
those are the 4 game modes, and we've been working hard to make sure that each one has a lot of depth and replayability, and can be lots of fun.
Definitely. I've been messing around in sandbox mode for a little bit, and I've had a lot of fun with it, trying to make something that looks a bit out there, but also a bit, like a traditional dinosaur.
I don't do much in I don't do much in Sandbox. I like the structured challenge of all the other modes better.
Oh, me too.
I'm
100%. I am when I started working on the first game about a year ago, I was consistently blown away by all the things that our community was able to make with just the simple sandbox tools that we have in the first game. So I'm very excited to see what they do with the sequel.
I've had that across all the games I've been a part of that have been creative. I'm like, I have no real artistic creative bones. I've been watching Planet Coast and I worked on that. I was like, I could never make these pretty things. And even this, I'm like, pretty parks, I'm like, I can make something. My path placement, I'm like, yeah, just go from A to B, like dunk, 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 dunk. Like, could be smooth. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. fences.
Grids. It's all grids.
No, I'm just like, the fences are just like really weird angular things. That's fine.
So out of the four modes, which one's
I'm
been
very
your,
much like
your
that,
favorite
yes.
so far, if you have
I have no eye for decor
I
or
love
design.
all of my children equally.
I only
But
care about,
really,
you know,
enjoy
just functionality.
It's always been the one that kind of the mode that appeals to me most because that's how I like to play the games. I like to challenge myself to get to 5 stars as fast as possible with the different difficulties, and that's always the thing I like to do. I always like to race against time and do that kind of stuff. So that's always been the mode that I would gravitate towards naturally. But I've loved developing and making all of the modes and putting so much love and attention to, so that no matter how you as a player will play them, there's always something that's going to be really enjoyable. So if you want to play the campaign or the chaos theory so much, then there's going to be lots there for you as well.
Yeah. I'm personally very excited to see how people respond to chaos theory when we sort of reveal what all that thing is.
That's what
about
I'm waiting
beyond what
for.
we said
Yeah.
Already, I think. I mean, there's some speculation out there already, and I'm sitting.
I know when I get the game, I'm going to play campaign
Rubbing
first, but
my
I
hands
really,
together
just
a
as
little
soon
bit,
as possible,
knowing
want to touch chaos
I know,
theory.
what's real and what
It might
isn't.
seem we're just being really mean, but it's like we want to. There are times when we want to show you guys things that we're ready to show you. It's like we're not.
We're not holding back information because we want to be cruel about it. We're holding back information because sometimes things aren't ready, and we will of course share more
Excuse
as
me.
we continue on towards launch later this year. But we're going to be briefly switching out. Well, not briefly. We're going to be for the rest of the stream. We're going to be switching out Rich for another guest. We're going to be bringing in Adam, the game's executive producer. So I think. Until then, we're going to have you get a look at the very first species field guide of an old favorite, the Triceratops. So
I'm going to rewatch that. Alright.
The Triceratops is one of the most recognizable herbivores to ever have existed. It is best known for its trio of facial horns. These adornments are not just for display purposes. The brow horns in particular can inflict considerable damage to any dinosaur that dares to provoke it.
I can't wait to see more of the species, little field guide things. I just want to get as much about this game as possible. I heard that there were articles, but I don't pay attention to articles. I don't listen to gaming news sites. They're usually garbage. I'd rather just get my news directly from the source.
And we're back, and we are joined by another guest on the sofa, executive producer Adam Woods. I got your title right, didn't I?
You did, yeah. Spot on.
Fantastic.
Nice
As
plaid
our
shirt.
very first stream.
Yes,
We've never streamed
it
together
is.
before.
You mentioned this before we
Yeah.
began, that it's been about 2 years since you did a
Yeah.
Jurassic World Evolution stream.
Yeah, I think it was my last live stream was the 24-hour Christmas extravaganza that normally gets put on. And I did it with Rich, which was my first live stream with him as well. So all these firsts just took 2 years. That's all.
That's how it goes sometimes
Yeah.
when you're, in the
Absolutely.
middle of everything 2020 and
Yeah,
2021.
quite.
So since it's been 2 years since you last appeared on camera, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, I mean, I'm Adam Woods. I'm an executive producer here at Frontier and currently working on this rather incredible, little game called Jurassic World Evolution 2. Yeah, I've been here for just over 14 years now.
Wow.
So long in the tooth, perhaps. Lots of grey hair, missing hair from when I first started, but I'm still smiling.
You don't look it.
Thanks.
So
The old
if
charmer
that
you.
helps. So Adam is here to talk a bit about dinosaurs with us. The main stars of the show are the dinosaurs. We have a lot of fan favorites making their return in Jurassic World Evolution 2. We're also introducing aquatic reptiles. We're bringing in more flying reptiles. Are you excited for marine and flying reptiles, Adam?
Very excited. Obviously, I get to see all of the ins and outs of the game, and without giving too much away, because we're not gonna today, it's incredible seeing what the team is producing upstairs. I say upstairs, as in up in their respective offices.
Or at home.
Or
if
at
they
home,
were, you know.
yeah, that's what I meant, yeah. But yeah, it's very exciting seeing it all coming together. They're quite an addition to the game, these flying and marine reptiles for sure.
Definitely. One thing I
I
wanted
still
to
stand by. I don't think they're gonna have any more than 5 in any of the one category. Like no more than 5 flying, no more than 5 marine, and that's even being generous. I put it down to like 3 probably.
I think if you've been paying attention to the screenshots that we put out, you can see an aviary-like structure.
Yeah.
In the for the second game as well.
Yeah.
So
So
the aviaries making their return.
in a slightly more perhaps realised way. So it's no longer a single dome that you saw in Return to Jurassic Park.
Thank goodness.
It's now a modular style of building, so it's a dome that can then be made bigger with attaching other domes around it, including a bespoke viewing gallery for it as well, and a hatchery, of course, to create the reptiles. Yeah, so very easy to build, quite big enclosures for them quite quickly. And also the landscape inside is fully customizable with all the tools as you would do the land dinosaurs. So all the needs, all the brushes, all the landscaping tools.
I need to turn
all
off my
there to,
Discord notifications.
create both the enclosure that the reptile needs, but also, you know, with the players' artistic flair, as you were talking about before. Some of the parts they managed to build are quite incredible, and those tools will be at the disposal for the players there as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be really happy to see that it's more than just, you know, the dome. They
Yeah,
can,
it's
they
absolutely.
can build it in different shapes and sizes. They can do things inside them, around them, all that, you know, cool stuff to add that little unique touch to their parks and to the aviary itself.
All right.
Has it been tricky to introduce these?
It's been a piece of cake. Absolutely, I've just been sat around twiddling my thumbs. Yeah, making games is hard.
difficult.
It's really hard. Yeah, you know, it's a cliche because it's true, but it's a challenge that everyone on the team has risen to, and they've done an outstanding job so far. Yeah, so it has been a challenge. It's been a challenge that everyone has wanted to take on, and they have achieved it. And I can't wait to see the player reaction of seeing these all in action. Yeah.
So Big Wolf Gamer in chat has a question about like what happens when pteranodons escape, because previously they would just sort of fly away. Is there something more there that we can
tell
tease
you
or
that,
to
Big
tell
Wolf
people
Gamer.
about?
Yeah, cheeky. No, I'm not. There is more. There is more to talk about in that area, should we say? But I'm not going to talk about it today.
All right.
Damn.
Maybe
I
because
tried.
then I'm only
I
going to keep
tried.
it back so you ask me back again. That's the only reason.
We might
the
have
information back and I get to
Adam
come and
back
talk to you
at
again.
some point so we can give us more information. So there are over, as Rich mentioned earlier, there are over 75 species in Jurassic World Evolution 2. How do you choose who to put
I
in?
pick
Because
all my favourite ones.
you
I
just
put them in,
have a big list
and everything else gets thrown out.
Man, I hope for Cryolophosaurus. It's a long shot, but I do hope he gets in the game
original
eventually.
Game. Of course, there was a lot of species ended up in there, so we take a look at the rich history that we already have with that game, bringing across many fan favourites will be making a return, and then of course in terms of the flying reptiles and marine reptiles, there are some iconic ones, such as the Pteranodon, of course. I think some eagle-eyed viewers have noticed that we've got a mosasaur in there. So it's kind of taking a look at what we want as a group of enthusiasts of Jurassic World franchise, listening to the community as well with the Amargasaurus, one of the land dinosaurs. And of course we also saw the Coelophysis in the announcement trailer, which is all very good training for me to be able to pronounce these dinosaur names. Before I joined the project, I could say
I'll never forget my elementary school class where everyone was pronouncing it Coelophysis, and teacher demanded that we say it that way, and I refused.
Wait, how do there's
It's
an
always
O and an E there?
so funny to me.
That doesn't compute in my head into C.
I was about to say reveal a new dinosaur by saying, and then when I tried to pronounce this one, I almost caught myself, so I'm not gonna. But yeah, so it's a case of looking at what we had, looking at what new land dinosaurs and what community requested ones had come through, and seeing what ones we could bring to realisation, and picking a few that obviously we're fans of as well. You know, absolutely.
But yeah, we already saw one of the fan favorites, the Triceratops, the species field guide. There, you may have picked out, you know, some of the new colorations and skin patterns and everything, and we'll have more to talk about that at a later point. So we've, if you've gone to our website, you may have seen screenshots of dinosaurs like Nasutoceratops, Brachiosaurus, Margosaurus, Coelophysis, T-Rex, etc. What's been done to update these dinosaurs for Jurassic World Evolution 2?
So of course the new ones have been built from the ground up. We've also with the returning ones, we've taken a look at all of the details from them, including from the very start the model.
Trying to see if you got any new images. Maybe, probably not. Probably will be the same ones you've seen already.
Sizing we should have. We take the Triceratops as the example. As I was saying, we look at the model, we look at the mesh.
Little too detailed, looks really gross.
Another pass at the texturing and the detail in the scales and the skin. And as you mentioned before, the customization and variety in both skin and pattern colours has dramatically increased over the original game. So there's a lot more options for the players to customise their dinosaurs.
There it is, all those rainbow-coloured buildings.
Process. But it doesn't just stop at the visuals, of course. We've looked at some of the behaviours, social interactions. Of course, we've got the dynamic fighting and hunting, which all
A beautiful boy.
a very more realistic.
I've never seen that photo. There's a new one. Or maybe I just forgot about it. Who knows?
Breadth of updates for all dinosaurs.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you go back and you look at the Triceratops species field guide, there's some of those new behaviors in already, I believe, because you have the resting animation.
What are those trees?
Lie down on the
They look
ground.
so out of place.
Kind of the sort of interaction with it and the environment around it. We're
Those
trying, and it's one of my
Those are different too, aren't they?
most exciting parts of the game is turning these,
Huh.
sort of quite scary, ominous-looking creatures
I mean,
to being
the T-Rex
an animal.
particular.
Yeah, absolutely. Lions roar and they look scary, but they're animals as well. And I think that's what I'm really excited about, seeing how we've developed them into these kind of animals. That's the word I keep thinking about. It's an animal that kind of ruffles itself on the ground to try and clean and preen, and they can interact with each other in these social kind of points and things. So yeah, it's really lovely.
I really like the in the Triceratops species field guide. I really like the head shake animation
Yeah.
that one of them does, and there's
Yeah.
also one where I'm not sure why I didn't notice it before, but it lifts his leg up and sort of stamps it into the ground. It almost looks like a threatening, like it's trying to ward
It's like a
someone
little
off or,
warning.
So
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't noticed that until
my
I
headphone
watched
out.
it like the fourth or fifth time or
Yeah.
something, and I thought,
Where's the thing?
that's like the small touches that I really like as a player.
Exactly, and it's an interesting point that the game is obviously, as Rich said, a dinosaur management simulation. So you kind of got a point.
I've been so loud I couldn't pick it up on the
overview
on the
and
microphone. We'll see.
Part, but then when you dive down, you see all that detail, and you see the detail in the animations of the animals and things. It's quite incredible.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible what the animators have done.
And speaking of species field guides, it's been a joy to see all these new dinosaurs, but I think it's time that we maybe show one of the new dinosaurs in motion. So here is the next species field guide featuring a Margosaurus. Yeah. Take it away.
My boy.
A Margosaurus,
Ooh,
one of
look
the
at-
smaller members of the
Ooh, two of them
sauropod,
releasing at once.
continues to draw amazement thanks to its astonishing spinal spikes. These neural
green
spines have
skin,
been hypothesized
brown.
as having many uses, but research is still ongoing.
I believe the primary one is that they are used as defensive, like against carnivores. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Got 3 skins. 2 releasing from the same hatchery.
I should pay
Or
more
hatch at the same
attention
time.
to our tech guy when he switches scenes and everything else.
Oh boy, am I glad all the spoilers I was just talking about weren't on the stream. Whew.
I did see someone in chat saying like, oh, they're deliberately holding stuff back from us. I mean,
Of course they are.
as we
I
said
mean,
earlier, some things we have
Yeah.
to keep close to our chest for now. But you know, the information will come out in due time. So that was
All those.
the Amargasaurus species field guide, and I can see a lot of people. I mean, there's Gorilla CMD says more in chat.
Already are.
Simone 0893 says, wow, which is great, fantastic. There's a lot of hype, a lot of, oh, look at that chunky boy. It's technically a chunky girl because the dinosaurs are gendered female, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Amargasaurus, the
Still running with that.
the first of the new dinosaurs to
Yep.
get a species field guide. It's a new sauropod. It's a herbivore. What can you tell us about the Amargasaurus?
It's my new favourite dinosaur.
Yeah.
It's taken over the #1 spot in my catalogue. I think obviously it's very distinctive with those rather large spines along its back of its neck. It is a herbivore though, so it's, you know, a bit more of a sort of a defence mechanism rather than a full-on attack.
Yes.
But a gentle, small giant. because
Please
it's
use
a
those back
sauropod,
spines
so
to
it's a
fight
large
carnivores. It'd be
dinosaur, but
so
it's a
awesome.
compact one, should we say? And I think, as you can see from the guide itself, it's got a very cheeky kind of look to it. You know, it's kind of slightly, the head is a certain proportion to its neck.
Yep.
I think it just looks a little compact, but I love it. I love
Yeah,
the
that's
colouring, especially
that's
the one
most
with the,
Dicraeosaurs
the,
though.
The spine coming
They're very
in as
short
well.
necks.
So yeah, I
Very
think it's
small
a
bodies, very
welcome
compact.
addition to Jurassic World Evolution too.
I think the combination of sort of big and small is very interesting because, like
Yeah.
you said, it's a sauropod, and so it's in sort of the same family, etc. And I'm not a biologist or paleontologist, so
neither.
excuse me if I'm messing up any words or names here. But the Brachiosaurus is gigantic, and then you have the Amargasaurus cousin,
Yeah.
which is still a big dinosaur
It is a
compared to
big
us,
dinosaur,
because it's like 10 meters tall, I
Yeah.
think. But it's still it's bigger than me, but it's much smaller than some of its cousins.
Dicraeosaurs are more like
So that's
elephant
where
size, so
it's
not too big, but
interesting
they're
about
definitely
coming to
big.
see,
Big
dinosaurs.
boys.
Yeah, quite a scale of sizes in that family tree for sure.
I'd like to know if you're watching in chat what you feel about the Amargasaurus. Let us know, and we will read some of your responses. And keep an eye out for more species field guides as we go. There's going to be more of them in the future.
Yeah.
And the species field guides that we have shown on the stream will be available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jurassic World Evolution, both for
There we go.
the Triceratops and for the Amargasaurus. So there's a lot of it looks really cool. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous animal. So it is great. Mihail P14 says, I love it. Master, it's too far away, I can't see.
I find
It's
the tiny head very cute. I didn't get the username there.
Oh,
but,
that's
but
nice.
yeah, that's kind of like one of the details. I love it. The slight kind of proportions of it. I think it tends to make it very cute looking. I like that.
Definitely. And of course, you've probably seen this in the species field guides already. There's a category for marine or aquatic, and there's a category for flying or air.
Yeah.
So we will of course have some species field guides for those types of reptiles as well. I know for parts of our community it's very important to call them flying and marine reptiles instead of dinosaurs.
Yes.
Distinctive species.
Trying to watch Godzilla Singapore, they keep calling the pteranodons dinosaurs, and it's just, ooh, it's irking me.
Not getting dinosaurs. But I'm not going to lie, I do sometimes just go back and say dinosaurs.
It is pretty easy to sort of just lump them in together. I remember we did a Know Your Dino a few months ago. And it turned out to be the pteranodon from the first game. We had a lot of comments saying, this is not a dinosaur. But then if we'd called it Know Your Flying Reptile, it would have given it away
It would have
immediately.
been a bit easier.
It's fair.
Everyone would
Know
just go,
your
it's a
flank.
pteranodon.
There you go. Yeah.
You just go know your creature. It's usually a better term anyways, just say
the
creature.
last thing I think we should talk about is the very first feature focus that has come out, and it's a big one, but it's a lot of information there about dinosaur acquisition, dinosaur management. So let's talk a bit about that. So in certain modes, you're still bioengineering dinosaurs. That hasn't necessarily changed in the grand scheme of things, but we've improved the process in several ways. So you can, for example, create dinosaurs in batches in your.
That's what that
Can you
was. The two
explain a bit more
Margosaurs.
about this?
Absolutely. So it all starts obviously with DNA, and you still need to send out your expedition teams to find that DNA, get enough of the genome sequence ready for actual trying to synthesize. You will be able to apply modifications to that genome as you see fit. We'll probably talk a little bit more about some of those details in the future. And then once you're ready to go, you then we have 2 stages before you actually release dinosaurs or reptiles now. The first stage is synthesizing these eggs, at which point you can then synthesize, or depending on the species, different number of eggs will be synthesized at one time. And then depending on how many are viable at the end of that stage, you can take them on to incubation, and then ultimately that's when you're releasing these mature, ready dinosaurs and reptiles into your park through your various hatcheries.
Yeah, and as you probably saw in the Amargasaurus species field guide, we had a small clip in there with
two I'm releasing at
Amargasaurus,
once.
being released at the same time. And I think also, I believe it's in Game Informer's write-up about the preview you gave them. There might be a GIF or two of some Amargasaurus coming out at the same time. Shout out to Andrew Reiner and his Twitter feed, where I think he also posted some of those GIFs. So if you haven't seen them, feel free
Because
to
again,
hunt them down and take a look.
especially the Amargasaurus release feeds back into that sort of playful nature. You know, you'll see it when you go and have a look. You'll know what I'm talking about. But it is lovely. So yeah, that's an example of a slightly larger species having two eggs able to be synthesized, incubated, and then ultimately released. And species will change, like I said before, depending on their species, how many you can do at once. Yeah.
And of course, there's been a lot of questions about juvenile dinosaurs, baby dinosaurs.
It's not
There
not
are no plans for
Yeah.
juvenile dinosaurs
No.
or baby dinosaurs. They will
I knew
be
that.
raised to maturity, to adulthood, before you release them into your parks. So we want to give you the full-grown dinosaur experience, as it were, as they're released. Another thing that I find really interesting, and I think is a great upgrade from the first game, is the ability to now do dinosaur release via airlift.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
can just sort of
okay.
split your enclosures and your hatcheries at the same
Yeah,
time.
I think it was a quite highly requested community feature. It's a great quality of life addition to.
That's
to
good.
the
You only need
sequel.
one hatchery then,
And you can
ever.
now, as you say, you can decide to either release it within an enclosure that's part of that hatchery, or you can choose the airlift option and perhaps move it to another one. So that gives you a bit of flexibility on how you're setting your park up. Perhaps you haven't got the most amount of money. It means you can kind of run with just one hatchery with multiple enclosures.
I wonder if it's actually going to be a way for me to fail the campaign, or if my tycoon game knowledge will just guide me through yet again.
Says, yes, this is the feature I really wanted, so that's
There you go.
excellent. We have at least
Tick.
one player who says, yes, this is great, So tick for that, absolutely. And of course, there are some modes where there will be some wild dinosaurs sent to your parks as well.
Yeah, so not only do you, or will you be able to, in certain modes, create dinosaurs from the DNA that you can find, or from the dig sites. There will be certain events, certain narrative events, and certain other trigger points throughout different modes that means the player will then have to deal with live dinosaurs that are going to be transported in to your.
That's not different than the regular campaign, is it?
That adds another.
You did that a lot, even on the second island.
These live dinosaurs, bringing them into the enclosures, making sure they're set up and ready to go. So yeah, excited to see how that plays out with the players in these
That one
events.
And it also
airlifted in
ties-
Diplodocus, Metriacanthosaurus. I remember that.
that's what I was looking for. It also ties into
Diseased.
the theming around the game being set after the events and inspired by the events of Fall of the Kingdom,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
dinosaurs come out into the wild.
Yeah, it's a very different world.
Yes,
as,
a world
Jeff-
evolved, you might say.
Jeff said in the announcement trailer, it's a very different world out there now.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting.
So a big new feature that we talked about in the feature focus are dinosaur territories. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about that.
Yes, so as part of the realistic dinosaurs area that we're looking at, obviously they are, as we've said, the heart of the game and the stars of the show. We've added a dynamic territory system into the dinosaurs. So now when they're released or put into an enclosure, they will start to claim territory within that enclosure based on their needs. So it's not just an arbitrary kind of claiming. Different species will have different size of territory that they need to try to maintain, and they'll seek out their needs. So, for example, the Triceratops will need water. I think it needs some forest cover, those kind of needs, and it will seek within its nearby vicinity to find these things. The territory will also expand and shrink over time. So you'll start to notice that they sort of almost patrol the edges of their territory, trying to keep it at the size that they need.
They're redressing the original mechanic for the size of the exhibits. Might be interesting though, especially if you can like see it from like the top-down view of your park.
Slightly bigger territory.
Especially for a wild mode, that'll be fun.
Feature to show a slightly more natural or realistic, perhaps, behaviours of these.
But then, if carnivores leave the territory to hunt, does it stay there as well? That's a thing I'd have to ask about.
Chat says the territory system seems really cool. Will it change the population and social systems from the first game?
Yes, because of course it's what sort of their needs are driving their territory, and part of that is the social side of things. So yeah, we should see quite a change.
And we'll have more to share about this stuff in the future, of course. I saw a very cute username in chat that I just want to shout out. Spinosaur the dinosaur with a Y in Spinosaur. So I just wanted to give them a bit of a shout out.
That's a fair shout out. That's worthy.
So, moving on a little bit, there's
I think I might look at the articles after this, just take a look for myself.
The original game with the Player Sanctuary DLC, but now it's a core feature, especially for when you're housing your herbivores. So I'm assuming they work together with
paleobotany.
the
Come back.
stuff.
Yeah, so herbivores need feeding. We don't have the herbivore feeder anymore. We have these paleobotany plants. These
Thank
prehistoric
God.
extinct plants that we've brought back
They
to
finally
life.
just
We've
let them eat
reimagined
plants.
for the sequel.
As
And
plant
you now
eaters.
basically, you'll have understanding of what the herbivores need, and then you'll use these paleo plants and brushes to place them within the enclosure. Obviously, ideally within their territories as well.
Yeah.
Should be
You
able
get to
do it
research
at the same
those
time,
different kinds of plants, or you get them all
to
automatically, or you have to
provide
research
food
them.
for your herbivores. So yeah, creating quite a more realistic as 65 billion years ago we can imagine, but realistic and natural kind of enclosures, and perhaps some very
Oh, then
interesting
different plant life. I mean, you could
enclosures
really make
big
some
enough
cool looking
perhaps
parks.
You can try what a herbivore and a carnivore may get along with or not.
Yeah,
maybe.
that was actually going to be one of my follow-up questions, because that is a question that we've been gotten a lot from players. Like, does that mean if I have a big enough enclosure, can I keep these different kinds of dinosaurs together?
In theory, if you can manage it well enough, yes. They will build and they'll be happy within their territories. You might find some little areas of contention perhaps, but yeah, I think, as I was saying before, the kind of the animal side of these dinosaurs I'm particularly interested in feeds into how they're going to be enclosed and how this territory works. So I'm really interested to see what kind of enclosures players will build with these new tools, with the territory
I want a
system,
Hell Creek.
paleobotany.
Definitely.
I want a
think
Hell
it will
Creek
be-
cage,
it'll be very, very
T-Rex,
interesting. And I think-
Ankylosaurus,
I know
Edmontosaurus,
there's also,
Triceratops,
certain
Pachycephalosaurus,
dinosaurs that sort of cohabitate
maybe even like
better than
Dakota
others.
Raptor,
I
which
assume
probably
a lot of,
represented by something else, but we'll
herbivores
see.
will
Yeah.
generally get along, but maybe there'll be some infighting or overlapping here and there. Who knows?
Absolutely. Well, we'll find out. We do surface quite a bit of information to the player to understand how to, sort of build a harmonious enclosure. But there's always going to be people that want to see what happens when the power gets taken down and all the fences are out of action, right?
Exactly.
Who knows?
That might happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? So we've talked a bit about we talked about territories. We talked about paleobotany. We mentioned earlier a little bit about the animation work and behaviors. And what have I got in my notes here? I don't think I have anything else in my notes actually.
Been grilled and I passed the test, did I?
You absolutely
Thankfully.
did. You absolutely did. But yeah, I think we've pretty much run towards the end of the stream here. Let me just check.
Jesus.
There are a lot of notes here. Let me just double check. Stalling for time. All right. I think if we have have a few minutes, we can probably take some questions from take a couple of questions from chat.
I'll let the chat take care of that. I'm not super interested in.
Off script.
I let
I'm
other
not
people ask the
sure what you're gonna
questions.
ask
I'll
me.
just sit and listen. I don't want to sit here typing away on this keyboard while I'm
Sorry if I
recording here.
scrape my microphone, tap my
whoops,
microphone
you
there.
hit zip.
Now it's happening. Now it's happening.
Oh, there we go. We've got to get past the microphone.
Yeah, sorry about the
It's
mic
personal.
problem. Sorry.
That was them, okay. That wasn't my
I
headphones
see
freaking
there's
out.
obviously a lot of questions about things like Camp Cretaceous content, and we don't really have anything to announce with regards to Camp Cretaceous content. We think it's a really cool show, but we don't have anything to announce regarding Camp Cretaceous content in Jurassic World Evolution.
I think they answered that already before, so yeah.
How do you house the aquatics? How do you house the aquatics?
You
Dio
can't
Curie
answer that
asks,
question.
What are you most excited for? I mean, we asked Rich earlier. What are you most excited for?
I'm most excited about seeing these animals in their enclosures and yeah, seeing that natural side of them. That's certainly what I'm most intrigued by. Bringing these dinosaurs to life in a as realistic way as we can, and seeing a reaction to it. Of course, that's always the most exciting thing, as Rich was saying before. We obviously announced, and that was quite a feeling after being on a project quietly for so long.
Yeah.
And suddenly being able to go, yeah, it's here, and kind of watching it happening live and seeing people.
I think we all knew. I mean, the game doesn't make that much money, and you just don't make a sequel. It's not how things work in the world.
Yeah, so that was quite exciting after all this time.
I remember seeing Best in Sloth making a YouTube video saying that he was so sure that we were going to announce Jurassic World Evolution 2 that he would burn his
I mentioned him. It's
sloth
funny.
cuddly toy if we didn't announce the game.
Oh my gosh!
And he would film it and put it on camera.
Thank goodness we didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
I bet he's super excited. I bet he's probably streaming this right now.
I see a lot of questions in chat about aquatic reptiles.
Just once or twice.
You're not going to get any answers right now. They haven't done anything but show one teaser.
Today, unfortunately, but you
Be
will
more
of course
realistic,
hear
lads.
more about it in the future. Release date we haven't announced yet. We haven't.
Somewhere in December.
anything with regards to pre-orders as well, just to sort of get that out of the way. And if you're asking if this is a pre-recorded stream, it is not. We are currently 100% live.
I don't know how. I was like,
Yeah, how are you going to read comments?
I don't know how to sort of show, but no, it's definitely here. 20. No, I couldn't even give you the date because I could have put that pre-recorded as well.
Yeah, no, it is.
afraid.
I don't have my watch on me, so I can't.
I'll tweet straight after this. I'll be like, "Hi, here it is."
It is the 25th.
Yeah.
But I don't have.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Well then.
Oh, there's so many questions. Coming out. How are you guys doing? I'm doing really well. How are you guys? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm always nervous pre-stream,
Yep, just
Yeah.
especially after
flying
so
on
long.
by.
But it's lovely to be.
They
talking
can't really
about
answer
it
vague
and
questions
feel
right now. They have to wait till later on to get to the really good, hard-hitting stuff. It's unfortunate. That's why I don't really care to ask a question yet, because I know there's not many you could
I'm
answer.
pretty good. It's been busy, but I'm pretty good. There was an interesting question I saw just now, and it's if because the herbivores will be eating plants off the ground, they'll be eating stuff off the trees, and I'm assuming that stuff is going to stay there when they keep eating. It's not like you're going to have to replant all those.
No, currently the system is.
Not the JPOG
plant them
system
down
where the
and,
Triceratops
it
eats
takes
the
the
entire
form of
tree.
Plants can sort of regrow themselves anyway, so that's the sort of the mentality behind that. Yeah, you will need to obviously make sure you balance what paleo plants are in your enclosures when we're talking about the dinosaurs that can live together, particularly in the herbivore things. If you have Triceratops and Brachios together, for example, obviously they'll just by their size will have very different plant needs, so you need to balance it. But yeah.
So there's a question here from. Oh, it's a bit of a poor username, unfortunately. Idiot on duty. I'm sure you're not an idiot. But so there's I believe Rich mentioned it briefly in an interview he did with Twitch last week that we've been looking into, redoing some fight mechanics, hunting animation.
Yeah, I've been recording. I want to make sure.
There's a
wondering.
question here from poor idiot on duty saying, will other herbivores help each other to fight carnivores or to defend each other? You probably can't get into too much of that, but it's an interesting question for you.
It is an interesting question. That is correct. And if you're asking, have we looked at how the fighting system works in Jurassic World Evolution 2, then yes, we have looked at improving that area with some more of the dynamic fighting and whatnot. Details are on the horizon, shall we say.
Yeah, they're going to be skimmed for it now.
All right, and I think we're going to call it there on that
Cool.
little bitty tease. So thank you everyone in chat for joining us.
They really shouldn't. Teachers, they can only
First
answer sort of more
monthly,
teasing and light
spotlight
questions.
stream for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And we will be doing these monthly wrap-up streams at the end of every month going forward to recap and talk about and have a bit of fun with all the news and announcements that we have revealed from the month that's gone by. So if you'd like to come back in about a month's time, we would love to have you here. And at the on our forums on the final day of every month, there's a lot of stuff happening in the future. We're also going to be posting some write-ups with links to articles and to videos and a bunch of other stuff as well, wrapping up everything that's been happening. So stay tuned for.
Hopefully they post that Amargasaurus video by
Until
itself
then,
later, so I could
we
do
are going
that.
to be, we're going to be signing off, and we will definitely see you at the end of July. And thank you very much to you, Adam, for
Thank you for
joining
having me.
Thank you to Rich for joining us. Shout out to the mods in chat. Thank you to Heather very, very much for joining us. Thank you to Tim for managing the boards behind the scenes and making sure that the stream is running like clockwork. And
Other than the
we'll
microphone.
See you guys in about a month. And until then, fare thee well.
Bye.
Alright then. Just here reading the article that I didn't even see because I don't read these sites, but look at this. All the maps players access to are bigger than the first game, so a lot more space to build. And place as many dinosaurs as possible, changes yet. Direct conflict. That's interesting. At least, hopefully the bigger maps aren't so narrow. Hopefully when they mean bigger, they don't just mean we added more narrow pathways everywhere. Crisscrossing around like a spider web. So that means you put as many dinosaurs in the same space. That's definitely going to affect challenge mode a lot. I mean, the way I played challenge mode, I just crammed every one of the same sort of group together. All Hadrosaurs go there, Stegosaurs go there, and Ankylosaurs go there, that type of stuff. Trying to stay a little bit quiet, but that's the image I thought was new. It's right here. This is 4 days old, so People had just 2 Tyrannosaurs from the Hammond creation. That probably like those Amargasauruses then. So this isn't news to people who read the article. Their entry animation is designed to be able to. Roughly a dozen body colors. Wait, 7 patterns? What does that mean? So we went from so they doubled the colors. Although I doubt they're gonna be super amazing and fantastic. Gonna have dark green and light green. We already saw before their body colors weren't the craziest in the world. Maybe they fixed that, who knows? Maybe they've got a whole rainbow assortment. But last game, you got dinosaurs that had brown, black, dark brown, lighter black. It's like, yeah, these are some really fantastic colors. Could you give me anything other than brown and gray and black, please? I'm looking at you, Maiasaur. 7 different patterns. We'll have to see what that means when the game comes out, I guess. I guess it's just going to be a dinosaur park rather than a dinosaur preserve, because you wouldn't be digging up fossils, it's just a dinosaur preserve. Less aggressive to its rangers. I want to make them more aggressive. Screw those ragers. I don't. I pay them enough money. I'm not gonna pay extra money to make my dinosaurs less aggressive towards them. They can eat it. I know how to get good. I'm gonna drift around the dinosaurs so they don't get murdered. Create the clutch of eggs. Talk about this. One go as a group. Displays a white outline on the ground. Alright. Territories, everything does. Tribal territories of the size, dynamic, what's realistic. Alright. We'll see how that works when the game comes out, I guess. Hopefully it's good. I'm probably need to get a better PC to run this game. We'll see. I already had problems with the first game when things got a little too busy. Quickly at the environment. Is that something that you can keep the dinosaur information up while you're editing the environment? That'd be nice. Just having to go back and forth is kind of annoying. It's something I really thought or put like any real mind power to, but when they mentioned it, it's like, yeah, that was kind of annoying. Yep, and feed on foliage. I guess I was also, there's a lot in here that was just in, there's a lot that was already here, I just didn't see it. Roughly a dozen rocks. Woo! Bestinside loves his rocks, I'll probably be super happy about that. Through them fly out of each enemy different. Push to a flock, their habit is barren at first. But woods dives into too quickly. Add trees, water, rocks. So you can actually fully edit the pterosaur domes. So I guess, yeah, that makes sense. It's nice. Although I wonder if they're gonna have special rocks for like perches and whatnot. I did like those big rocks that they sat on in the original game, so hopefully they still keep some of those around. Size of the area is determined by the player. More cloud, which can be added freely, much like a fencing. Although I'd imagine when he says that, he means just sticking a dome next to the other dome. It builds an automatic pathway or something. Who knows? It's not exactly too specific. Everything here is more generally ideas and sort of what, ooh, this is kind of what it's like. To see it in action will be something different. To see how it works. That's really more so what is this. I guess that's just going to be the key phrase. We'll see how it works because there's no footage. There's just teases and hints as to what it is kind of like. Friends graduated, they can smash through the glass and fly around but talk potentially after guests. There we go. They wouldn't even talk about that. So yeah, Pteranodons do break out. Okay. That'll be neat to see. Hopefully they got some... I kind of want to see a Pteranodon pick up a person and carry him to my Mosasaurus. I really want to see... That'd be awesome. Imagine Pteranodon carrying him, dropping him. Mosasaurus breaches the water before he even lands and catches him midair. That'd be a rad thing to catch. I'm going to have to... But just keep trying until I get that, sacrificing my guess to the Mosasaurus. If a person gets trapped in the Mosasaurus enclosure, how is he going to get out? That's something I didn't think about. There's something else to think about. How are people going to get out? Because even in the original game, if a guest got trapped inside the exhibit, they were basically just screwed. They were just stuck in there until they died. I am not. Sorry. I just woke up. It's just a little bit. Still a little bit tired. Putting detract when I tranquilize them. I'm putting that to the freaking ACU. I'm not going to. Or what, maybe they'll be console that knows, but I'm not going to be trying to dart a Pteranodon flying around the air manually. Just screw that. Not happening. They won't say if they're going to interact with the creatures on the ground. Raptor Packons, we learned about that. There's no stopping and starting. That'd be nice. Can we... Players will pick it up very dynamically. I sure hope so. So stupid. Just have to stand and square off. It's nonsense. I hope that just gets thrown out the window. Can we not heal with the healing darts anymore? I can't cheese T-Rex victories by just spamming him with darts. No fair. That's cheating. That's cheating my cheats. Fly them via the helicopter. Oh, if not, it's gonna be treated in the field. I need to bring it here. So I guess there is still healing darts. Thank goodness. Seriously injured in battle. All right. Mobile vet unit. I bet that was that truck we saw in the trailer with the Natsutoceratops. The new ranger post. Cause that thing which looks at the spot you place it close to the ranger to perform welfare checks. Can they do that on the fucking feeders too, please? All I remember is those times where I'm sitting on my gyrosphere driving through the field of a Montosaurus and other Hadrosaurs, and then book up. Oh, you need to refill the feeder. Like, can my team not take care of this themselves? Do they need me to tell them, hey, dumb nut, our dinosaurs need to eat or else they're gonna eat you? It doesn't feel like I should need to tell them that. Dinosaurs are not as clearly defined in the sequel. Bit of fog of war. That's super vague. I'm gonna need to see what that means when the game actually shows it off. So just the range posts. Maybe give like vague warnings or something. Wait a minute. That looks awfully familiar. Adventure, standard, nature, and luxury. They brought J-Pog's system back. Oh, fuck yeah. Dude. It's about time. The amorphous mass that is the guest's population is finally gonna be separated into actual people with different needs. I wonder how far... Are we gonna get, like, names? Are we gonna get favorite dinosaurs for each of them? I like that. I really like that system in games, man. I click on Stacy Newbold from Texas, whose favorite dinosaur is the Stegosaurus. As pointless as that is, it's really cool when you can do it. I don't have a Stegosaurus, so she can never see your favorite dinosaur and get wrecked. Player could tailor attractions and amenities to these specific groups. Very good, very good. These two structures are really... Two structures? Is it... There's only two buildings? What? These attractions... Huh. That's giving me a little bit of an unsure little eyebrow raise. There's only two buildings. I understand you can transform them into multiple things, but are they gonna look that different? Are they all gonna look identical? I could see things like, and I'm already seeing like how these things will play in aquarium and spa. Probably be a lot slower, a lot more for the luxury, probably standard people. Naturism probably be something. Actually, you know, nature would probably be the aquarium. Like maybe a garden too. Bowling alley be standard, as well as possibly cinema. Arcade, maybe that would be for the adventure guys. I see each of these, like definitely the spa's luxury. Absolutely, aquarium's gonna be for nature. Bowling alley, cinema, and arcade are gonna be more for the adventures and standard types of people. I'm seeing this already. I can already start piecing this together in my mind, and I hope this means I can design sections of a park. I want like a luxury side of the park with the, you know, 5-star dinosaurs and that are fully customized with an array of colors and whatnot. You can have your standard park, which is some regular shit. The nature, hopefully they have like the paleo nerds, so that they'd be like, hey, that T-Rex shouldn't be in there with a brachiosaurus. They never existed together. So you can have your sort of, you know, your accurate park, quote unquote, where they put all the dinosaurs together that actually belong. There's a lot you can, hopefully. Well, I'll have to wait and see how far this extends. Hopefully it's not just buildings, that it also affects the dinosaurs they want to see. But it's also fully customizable. The facade, roof decoration, entrance location, signage, and immediate surroundings features a number of options. Hopefully, it's not like crazy modular. I don't need Planet Zoo. Just give me Zoo Tycoon's recolorable roofs, and I'm happy. I don't need things to be too insane. But other things, entrance location, that's like roller coaster tycoon, roof decorations also. Yeah, there's more here than I would expect, but hopefully it's not too crazy. I don't need things to be insane. I just need things to be better than JWE. You can have trees, dinosaurs. Ooh, dinosaur skeletons. The color of items can also be altered. Yeah, baby, that's what I want to see, baby. Pink, so be it. If you want each piece different color, you could do that. Range colors extensive. Ooh, colors from a wheel. Fantastic. All right. Ooh, time controls. Yeah. As much as I like the idea, it seems like they're not doing a modular system. There's only 2 buildings, and I'm a bit apprehensive about that. It's giving me bonus points for not being modular because I don't like that system. I just find that it tends to bring down my experience. I get that it's nice if it's there, but it tends to, like I think I mentioned it before, a modular system I find tends to let the developers just kind of, I don't know, they only ever seem to go 2 ways. Either basic, boring, like wooden and concrete boxes, or extremely specific regional themes with no in between. There's no just regular zoo theme that looks colorful and happy but doesn't fit any specific style, and it's just a general zoo like Zoo Tycoon and its buildings. And that's what always got me about Planet Zoo. As much as I tried to play it, I don't want to be the goddamn architect. Give me a well-designed building that isn't from India or Africa or these very specific areas. I want a zoo. I'm not looking to build just a zoo for India or whatever. I don't know. It's a bit of a petty gripe from somebody who's probably a bit odd, but I'm happy to see that isn't a thing, hopefully. Now, hopefully we can just get well-designed buildings, even though there's only 2, which makes me a bit nervous. I got time systems, which is nice. Be able to speed things up. I'll probably forget about it most of the time, though, because that's how I generally treat those time mechanics. I'm a very patient person who just sits around and waits for things to happen naturally. Oh, look at that, just like I said. More than tornadoes, I have a snowstorm. Snow, great problems. I'm curious how that system works. Is like the paths, are they going to cover the paths in snow, or are they going to be like not covered because, there's all the guests walking on it? I'm not saying dynamically show trace snow, but like just the snow falls and it's accumulated to the ground. Is it even going to be like anything more than a texture? That's another question too. Is it going to be like actually a model that comes off the ground, or is it just going to be you change the ground texture to white? I mean, they kind of have to, right? Because the plants would look kind of awkward if they're just sitting on top of snow. To be like Zoo Tycoon 1 level stuff. Walk through another game feature. Will be huge, but what else can we add to it? Because will be and nothing about the Mosasaurus yet. I can absolutely see that because they haven't shown anything other than one teaser. We're not going to see any details about that for a while. But the contract missions in the first game aren't in the story campaign, but will be present in challenge mode. Then how are they going to lead us through? Because I remember the contracts were how they guided players to like organically build their parks. So did they have a new system for that? Probably gonna wait till the end of development for a Switch version like they did last time, even if. Dinosaurs I saw. Ooh, Acrocanthosaurus is back. I wonder if they, please keep those same rainbow, beautiful designs. I love those. Allosaurus, okay, that's good. Ankylosaurus. Ooh, Baryonyx is back. Camarasaurus, heck yeah! My second favorite sauropod. And that seems like it's it for the new guys. Alright. Purchase, I don't think you can. What happens if I click this button? Oh, that's the original game. That's 2. You click purchase and it takes you to the first game. Alright then. That's interesting. We're gonna have to wait and see how a lot of this gets more in-depth and explained, because a lot of this is vague overlook and cheeky details rather than any actual specifics other than like this list. We'll see. There's a lot to see here, and there's especially a lot we gotta learn about. I'm gonna have to see what that's like when the time comes. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We will see.